Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Gyle here. Welcome back to the Forged Alliance Forever promotional series. Monday afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Don't you just hate them? The goblins of real life and the demons of responsibility have emerged from the dregs of the weekend to thrust you headfirst and begrudgingly into another working week, and all that's left of the Saturday and Sunday afternoons are hazy memories of barbecue and beer. Fear not! I have come to cheer you up. I've got some Sopcom goodness coming your way in the form of a custom 2v2, and it's going to take place on Desert Crisis. So let's head on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. So, Desert Crisis, can honestly say, haven't cast a lot of matches on this map. Probably cast the odd one or two from tournaments and such, but I'm not sure I've ever casted any games in solo regular casts. And this is a good illustration of what I'd like to do more of, guys. I'd like to showcase more of the stuff that can be found in this fantastic community of ours. So if you've got a decent game on a map you're pretty sure I've never cast before, or I haven't cast very often, send it in. You've got a better than average chance of getting that sucker on the playlist. So throw them my way, guys. Keep those replays coming. Let's take a look at the teams in the meantime. Up here we'll call this Team 1, as you'd expect, and down here we'll call this Team 2. Up here in the top left for Team 1, in Ferrari red, sporting this season's very fashionable Cybran, it's Mr. Smith, and he's going first land, second air. Over here at the top right, his teammate in Regal Purple, my good friend, Clan Tags Chosen, going UEF, also going first land, second air. And down here at the bottom left in Baby Blue for Team 2, it's Koecher, also going Cybran, also going first land, second air. And last but certainly not least in Mellow Yellow, down here at the bottom right for Team 2, it's the quintessential Voodoo. And there must be something in the air, I swear to God. Also going Cybran, also going first land, second air. I suspect he is. Let's take a look. Yes, he is. First land, second air, third land. So that is the way the teams are shaping up. And we've got some lab play coming out from from Voodoo, and he did this the other day at the community podcast, guys, which should be out in a few days or so. I did a first dual cast attempt with Napalm with disastrous consequences. It was a nightmare on a live replay trying to keep those two in sync. Didn't work very well. Next time we will do it on observer mode. But Voodoo anyway was also going Cybran, and he named the first two labs off the starting blocks as Freshy, and I bet this one's Scruffy. Yeah, there it is. So giving them names from other well-respected members of the community. Always fun to see Voodoo, quite the character. Anyway, it looks like Freshy is aiming... Where's he going? So he's going for the rear plateau up here to try and hunt some NGs there from Mr. Smith. First little bit of engagement happening here between Smith and Koecher, and one mole down for Koecher, but I think Koecher's going to win the battle of the Mantis. Yes, he is. That other Mantis survives with 14 HP. That means that engineer is vulnerable. And Scruffy about to make contact. Unfortunately for him, he's about to make contact with a striker. That's probably going to be the end of his playtime. Back in your box, Scruffy. Boom, baby. There he goes. Freshy, on the other hand, is going to have a story to tell the men in the mess hall if he makes it back alive. He's managed to isolate a single engineer there for Mr. Smith. Down that goes, and he's going to start working on those mexes at the pace at which continents move apart. So, taking a look at how things are shaping up in this game in the broader picture, we've got some air units now on the field for all of the players in this game. Got some couple chilling back here for Koecher and Tag Chosen up here at the top and at the bottom. And Voodoo and Mr. Smith, conversely, being a little bit more aggressive, doing some scouting work, and fly their NT straight over their mirror on the other side of the map. But otherwise, these guys just kind of putting the feelers out, getting some more action, solo Mantis style here, and this guy's lost an argument with a cliff, having some major difficulties there. He needs to go back for some reprogramming. He's forgotten how to walk. Off he goes on his merry way, though. And now we're seeing some bombers out for Mr. Smith, and I'm hoping he's going to continue to send those south and not get embroiled in any kind of defensive action with these few units kicking around from Koecher. You want to be using these bombers to better effect, hamper your opponent, keep attacking, don't get embroiled in combat on your side of the map, don't start going defensive. Koecher in the meantime moving his ACU forward, going to pick up that mechs, so he's looking to stamp his authority on this game, grab some territory there with the ACU, and we're going to get some bombing action now. Goodbye, Mr. Engineer, no more reclaim for you. Nice little pickup, and we're seeing some, or a Jester on the field now. It's taken some damage already, 221 HP. That bomber out from Smith gets popped by a defending interceptor there from Koecher. But Koecher moving up with this Jester. He's going to go right past this Engineer. Will he stop to grab it? Yes, he will when he realized what he nearly missed. Turns around. No rice for you, Mr. Engineer. Consigned to the ethereal scrap pile in the sky. Defending interceptor, though, should pick that up without any difficulty. 173 hit points left. Still a couple of units kicking around the map for Voodoo. And Voodoo's managed to grab an engineer or so up here. There was a line of land factories queued up there for Chosen, but he hasn't managed to complete it, of course, with the death of that engineer. And for the moment, looking like Voodoo stockpiling bombers, getting a critical mass of planes together, perhaps interceptors included, so he can defend those bombers when he decides to send them out. And then, 'twas the night before Christmas, all was quiet. Koecher looking to establish a little base here. He's cleared away the trees, thrown down 2 land factories, a third one going to go up, and a radar as well. This land factory is taking advantage of that adjacency bonus on that forward mechs. And Voodoo has moved forward slightly. He's not been quite as aggressive as Koecher, but of course this isn't a symmetrical map. When you look at the bottom 50% of it, the line of symmetry runs diagonally, so it's a different layout over here for Voodoo than it is for Koecher. We've got a few units that have managed to make their way past Koecher's forward base there for Smith. This one here over in the west going to start working on that mechs. This one stopped for a cup of tea, very ill-advised indeed. Down he goes. And Voodoo's bombers must have got insta-shot down. Don't see them anywhere on the map though. The question is, did they manage to grab any of Chosen's NGs or anything more vital before they went to the ground at 1,000 miles per hour? Smith moving forward with his ACU. This is where it starts to get a little bit tricky, certainly for these areas here on the map. You've got so many channels to defend. Working out what your opponent is sending into those channels so you can appropriately assign units to defend them is incredibly difficult, and of course you can't flank easily. These channels don't allow you to move effectively between them. There are a few places where you can get onto ridges and fire down onto units, but generally you're pretty hampered by the terrain on this map, so you really have to think quite carefully and scout your opponent well. Chosen paranoid of tac missile strikes. He's thrown down a buzzkill. Probably looks like he's got T2. Yeah, he's got T2 on that com. Throwing a triad down as well. But Voodoo looking to skip past all that and trying to get in amongst this western flank of Chosen's main base. Chosen trying to put together a plasma turret, but I think these Mantis have turned up at just the right time for Voodoo and the wrong time for Chosen. I don't think he's going to manage to get that finished. There go the engineers. And now this mechs and this factory are under threat. Chosen sending some strikers to alleviate the pressure, but it's a nice little bit of harassment. Voodoo hasn't pushed a great deal of resources into that attack, but it's enough to keep him, keep Chosen busy, enough to stop him from locking that area down. What's Mr. Smith? Mr. Smith looks like he's had a cheeky upgrade on the comm there. Let's take a look. Maybe not actually. No, apparently I don't know what a Cybran ACU looks like, so No upgrades as yet for Mr. Smith. Probably wants to get one on there at some point though soon, judging by how far forward he is. That's the most forward commander on the map for either team. Voodoo way back here, he's working on some power. Koecher's in close proximity, but he's not quite as close to the middle of the map as Mr. Smith is. So Mr. Smith gonna have to watch out for potential snipes there. Hasn't got anything to protect him at the moment from any kind of TND strike. So we've got one T2 land factory there for Voodoo, and he's using those T2 engineers to help reduce power and such. And we've got a T2 air factory conversely for Koecher, looking like Koecher's going to be handling the air power, at least initially. And Koecher looks like he's bringing back at least a portion of those troops, maybe. Might be concerned by the group in the middle. I don't think he has any need to be concerned. A few units of build capacity there for Koecher, getting caught in the middle. I think he's got more than enough units to deal with that. And he does realize he's going to push on forward and try and get some kind of a run-by going on, I think. Chosen kind of posturing, looking like he wants to assist his teammate here. Problem is he hasn't got a great deal of units left, Mr. Smith, in that forward group that he pushed south with. Chosen probably wants to back up there, and it looks like he decides that's what he's doing. No, he's going to push on. Lack of respect for the lives of his units. After all, they are just pieces of machinery. What does it matter? And this could be quite a key little run by here from Koecher. These units heading north, groups of Mantis mainly, no Medusas in that mix. I can see he's got one at the back, sorry, and he's got a Sky Slammer, but there's a hydrocarbon that could be threatened here for Mr. Smith. Will that bottleneck him on power? It could do. He's on the breadline, at least for the moment. Mr. Smith trying to span together an auto gun to defend, but he's not going to get that in place in time. Boom goes the hydro, but he does adjust his expenditure accordingly, so he's not going to take any hit on the mass front, I shouldn't think. And now we've got some defending jesters out for Smith while his interceptors keep Voodoo's busy, and I think he's tearing up Voodoo's interceptors over here on the western edge of the map. Gets in behind the last couple, down they go. That's a nice solid victory in the air game there for Smith. Keeps his jesters safe, buys him time to finish off that Mantis, and that autogun survives with just 110 hit points on the clock. Meanwhile, Voodoo over in the east making a hard push up the edge of the map. Gonna tear up those units that were working, those little units of build capacity working on that autogun there. Prevent that from going online. Chosen trying to reposition his troops, but I think he's too late, and this is what I was talking about with the channels. It can be so difficult to underestimate the progression of your mirrors, troop movements, and where they're heading. Meanwhile, though, Mr. Smith heading straight down the middle. We're going to have to go to split screen on this one to keep abreast of the situation. No pun intended. Not that just saying breast is a pun. You know what I mean. You're mostly guys. But we have got some T2 units in the mix now for Koecher. A couple of hoplites on the field. Could potentially make a little bit of a difference, but we've got the jesters we saw earlier defending that hydrocarbon for Mr. Smith, coming in to harass that body of troops. Koecher isn't going to overextend, not least at the moment. That auto gun, sorry, that plasma gun, UEF-wise there for Chosen, the only thing that was protecting this eastern flank of the base has been taken out, and now these units are streaming in to Chosen's base. Mostly Mantis, thank goodness for Chosen. Doesn't have a great deal, or any, I can't see, Medusas on the mix, so taking out large amounts of buildings is going to be unlikely here. Stingers on the field as well, helping to alleviate the pressure. He's It's going to be one of those things. Voodoo going to be lucky to grab a couple of T1 power gens here, maybe. How did that attack at the bottom go for Mr. Smith? Petered out. No great damage caused to Team 2 there at all, but another potential incursion by Koecher pushing northwards up this second channel, I guess you'd call it. Chosen tries to block it off with a line of strikers. He's going to be able to manage that reasonably effectively. Chosen, let's take a look at how he's doing on the power front. More than enough. Losing those T1 P-gens there won't have hurt him in the slightest. A few units of build capacity getting taken out there for Koecher over in the east. Meanwhile, another engagement between Voodoo and the fringes of Chosen's base is brewing over here. Chosen's getting a nasty little battle base together here, throwing together lines of T1 PD, and he wants to protect those 3 T2 power generators. He's probably feeding a reasonable amount of power to his teammate. Yes, he is. And look at that, Mr. Smith on the bread line there. So definitely, at all costs, Chosen needs to protect that. And is that a attack missile launcher he's got on his back? No, it isn't. Sorry, it's a shoulder drone. So shoulder drones out there for Chosen, helping to assist the construction on that line of PD. And Mr. Smith really far forward. He's spamming up assistance on attack missile launcher. He's got some covers, some PD cover here, a couple of Cerberus turrets and a Burstmaster, some flak behind him, but no shields. He's looking reasonably exposed. Attack missile strike right now would end Mr. Smith's chances in this. Forward factory upgraded to T2 for Koecher, and you get the feeling just a few Medusas in the mix, some hoplites could break this position, maybe at least the forward position if you didn't go too far forward. There are another 3 Cerberus turrets back there, but of course Cerberus turrets a little bit weaker these days. But a lot of renegades out there for Koecher. If he brought those in over here, could cause major problems for Smith. Take out that Burstmaster. That would be a nightmare. Attack missiles, though, going straight after Koecher's. ACU takes him down to 4,000 HP. Another one on the clock. He needs to move his ACU. Will he get it out of the AoE in time? No, he won't. Oh, my goodness me. Suddenly, Team 1 take an early lead in this one. Koecher knocked out by a very nice attack missile strike. And that's unusual for a player at this kind of level to die to just the solo attack missile launcher there. Usually you'd see people place 2 attack missile launchers and go straight after the comm, not allow him time to move, but Koecher just didn't move the commander in time, didn't respond to the under attack alarm, and now he's out of the game. And to make matters worse for Voodoo, he's now under attack missile barrage from that very same attack missile launcher there from Mr. Smith. And he's going to have to do very well to get out of this one. 15 minutes gone and Koecher out of the game. He's got some units up here. There's no real danger of anything coming this way right this moment. However, we have got T3 on the field for Chosen. Starting to produce some SAMs, some flares for defense, but also Titans emerging onto the scene. And that's got to cause Voodoo some concern. He is way up on the mass front. 120 mass per tick for the moment. Chosen just in the mid-80s, and Mr. Smith way down, not keeping up so well with the eco in this game. Needs to get down here and claim some of these mexes ASAP. We've got a few Corsairs on the field as well. I'm wondering whether we've got another snipe on the cards potentially. coming from Smith, trying to end the game as quickly as possible. Certainly if you were going to take out anyone from Team 2, if you're a member of Team 1, you'd want to take out Voodoo first. That's certainly no slur against Koecher. Very fine player indeed. Probably the first to admit that Voodoo, slightly more dangerous member of that team. But we are seeing some bricks on the field now though, so Voodoo going to be able to keep up with the tech. Chosen's going to want to get some Percivals out onto the field to counter that brick. He's going to make a little push now though, and in come the line of Corsairs from Smith, not using them for a snipe or anything like that, but instead trying to take some HP off that brick there. Second pass, take that brick down to around 40% of its HP, but those bangers in that mix just shredding the Corsairs. It's not a brilliant use of eco there. A lot of resources going up in smoke, and that brick's still alive. 1500 hit points left on it. Voodoo now expanding left, but a large group of Medusas coming in down the middle from Smith, taking out this micro Maginot line there from Voodoo. Voodoo sending a few units out west to counter them. No direct units in this pile from Smith, so he's going to struggle. But now sensing that there's a gap in the middle, Chosen funneling troops left slightly. Needs to be slightly careful. The brick's still sitting pretty in that mix. 37 kills and climbing. But he knows he's relatively safe. He's got the comm back here. He's spammed up some Ravagers, and he's doing a lot of upgrades on the comm there. And something is upgrading very quickly. I'm wondering if that's a TAC missile launch on there. You can see he's got T3 tech. Resource allocation system, sorry. No, it's not. So going straight after an Omni. That's the most defensible place at the moment for Team 1, and this suddenly isn't looking good for Voodoo. That's a lot of stuff heading towards his base. Voodoo's ACU sitting under shield cover, trying to span together some auto turrets, some auto guns. A few Titans making contact in this group of troops from Chosen. Chosen could do a lot worse than to take out that shield gem, but he's going to continue straight on into the bowels of Voodoo's base. Wants to get in, I guess, and try and take out some build capacity maybe. It's always hard to deal a crippling blow with small groups of T1. Those Titans getting taken out too early to get anything finished off, and I'm impressed, but Voodoo's managing currently to hold the western flank of this map. Despite the gaping hole, sorry, left there by the departure of his teammate, getting sniped after just 15 minutes from that TAC missile launcher, which is still sitting pretty. 11 kills on that. Now a whole round of Corsairs coming in from Voodoo this time, going straight after Smith's comm. Shield gen collapses under the weight of fighter bomber fire. Mr. Smith spams it back up, wants to get the comm back inside shield cover if he can. Shield gets depleted in that pass, starts spamming up another shield gen. Of course, it's generally quicker to do that if you've got decent build power in the area than to wait for those shields to blink back online. A little bit of a drop happening down here engineers wise, but Smith far too busy, and Smith having to relinquish control of this area of the map, or at least back up for the time being. There's one zapper in this, two zappers in this mix, trying to keep up with the Viper missile fire that's incoming, but despite all the Cerberus turrets kicking about here and the shield gens, it's not going to be enough to hold back the tide. Ton of Medusas brought in from Smith as well. Cerberus turrets wailing away from back here, but I think it's safe to say that forward position is lost, and that's also going to cost Mr. Smith a T2 power generator. That shouldn't hurt him too much, though. It looks like he's got plenty of power to spare. And Voodoo, sensing a minor victory here, is funneling everything out west. He's knocked out this forward position. He's driven Smith back. Very good work indeed. So far, Team 1 unable to cripple Voodoo. Question is, will that change? We now have ASFs on the field. Wasps out for Chosen, and he's got something on those gunships. What is it? Stingers, of course, have a single slot, a transport slot. For those of you that didn't know, they can pick up units, small enough units, and move them around the map. He's got something on board there, and it's actually an awesome thing to throw a mech marine on there. You can turn them into micro ghetto gunships, adding a little bit of randomized damage on board. There are now, though, ASFs appearing on the field for Voodoo. A bug has been started as well. Question is, where is he going with this gunship attack slash drop? That is the question. He's going to drop off. Not down there. Where is he dropping off? He's going to drop off this way. One of those Stingers getting taken out there, and they're Sparky's T2 field engineers for UEF. The gunships are going to go off to try and cause some damage, but I don't think they're going to get a great deal done. Voodoo detonates some build capacity there, not wanting to offer any free veterancy to those gunships. But the ASF's able to mop those up. Sparky's moving forward, going to spam up some triads, but Renegades suddenly appear on the field. Voodoo very quick to deal with this threat. They switch their construction order to an air cleaner, but they're not going to get that finished. So a beautiful, beautiful little strategy there from Chosen that just didn't work. But I love seeing that kind of play. Very inventive, and in certain situations that would work just fine. Some more of that kind of play, please, guys. That gets me very juicy indeed. And Voodoo looking like he's going to achieve the run by right down the middle, with two armies bisecting the teammates here for Team 1. And that's a couple of T2 mechs is about to bite the dust there for Chosen. A third one on the ridge, and there are some Vipers in here as well. He gets those on the ridge. He can threaten all of the base structures down here for Chosen. So Voodoo doing incredibly well in this. Chosen, though, is keeping on top of things eco-wise. Got 185 mass income per tick for Voodoo, 151 there for Chosen. Mr. Smith way down on the 57 region. Take a look at the reclaim, 28k there for Smith. Chosen's on 46k, full barring mass more or less. And 38k there for Voodoo. So Chosen for the moment getting the best of the reclaim. Deciding not to try and get on this ledge. The odd Corsair kicking around there for Smith. And we've got some broadswords kicking around for Chosen. T3 air in place. Saw some ASFs earlier. Now he's switching up to gunships. He needs that extra damage to deal with these bricks, of which there are quite a few. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bricks out on the field now for Voodoo, and in nastily close proximity to Chosen's base. Chosen's trying to spam together Ravagers ASAP. Some Percivals come in to alleviate the pressure. Their arrival is very welcome indeed for all of the civilian contractors that work inside Chosen's base. And finally, just a couple of bricks left, but what was that? Have we lost Voodoo? No, we haven't. He's right there. That must have been a Billy nuke. So Chosen switched up that backpack upgrade for a Billy nuke, landed it straight on top of Voodoo's shield, I guess. but of course the Billy Nuke doesn't do a great deal of damage, and it can't really, could be abused. They've been talk about adjusting it, but the fact that you can rebuild it if you've got the eco as quickly as you can, it would be incredibly OP. It's already excellent point defense for small armies of units, and that last attack has really bitten Chosen hard, but he's bottlenecking power something horrible at the moment. Needs to get that sorted. The T3 power plant got taken out. You can see energy required fast from Mr. Smith. The question is, can he donate energy? He hasn't got a great deal. He's spamming it over to Chosen as best he can. Fat Boy under construction, but a bug is finished for Voodoo. We saw it under construction down there, and this could be the end of Chosen, and that would leave Team 1 in a horrible position, Chosen being in the better place in this team. We've got broadswords coming in to deal a little extra damage. Chosen not looking great though, down into the red, 4,000 hit points. He's trying to spam up shields as best he can, but he can't get there in time, and that bug finishes off Chosen, and suddenly Team 2 looking in a fantastic position. Voodoo is such a beast, but that bug does get taken out, so it's not time for Mr. Smith's demise as yet. Chosen would like the last 10 minutes back, I suspect. Probably not have placed the Billy Nuke on that commander. But another Monkey Lord now, another experimental, this time a Monkey Lord in construction, under construction from Voodoo, but Voodoo has been tearing up the forward reaches of Smith's base here. Chosen asking if Voodoo's shield even collapsed. No, it did not. Generally, Billy's will be kept out by reasonably upgraded Cybran shields. Certainly, shields of the other races will repel them quite comfortably. They really are more about field deployment. They're excellent point defense, as I say. Excellent at taking out large groups of units, which can give you an advantage on the battlefield. They are not meant for base destruction. And now these 3 bricks left more or less on their own, trying to get in and put some damage on Mr. Smith. He's taking an awful lot of fire. Nice overcharge there, gets rid of one of them. Another one going down deep into the red, but Smith taking a lot of fire, down to 6,000 hit points and falling. He's trying to get away, and he goes down to around 3,500. Finally, one of those bricks gets taken out, just the one left. There are renegades on the field, though. It looked like there was a whaler there as well. Not sure what happened to that, but there is certainly a strat bomber in the area. That will finish off that brick, but this is going to be real tough. Engineers moving out east for Smith, trying to get as much reclaim from Chosen's old base as Smith can. Needs to grab these mexes, needs to secure it. He is operating at an outrageous 3-to-1 deficit right now, or more or less 3-to-1 against Voodoo. At least that's what it's running out because of his power shortage. He's got that power shortage because he's spamming air units. And suddenly, from being in a horrible position 15 minutes after losing Koecher, Voodoo looking pretty good right about now. In come the ASFs to clean out those renegades, working on that poor defenseless brick. Certainly Smith might see that a little differently. And now air engagement right above the wreck of that Soul Ripper. Who is getting the better of it? Tough to call. It looks like it might be Smith for the moment. Monkey Lord. No, sorry, not Monkey Lord. What happened to the Monkey Lord? What have I missed? A Monkey Lord was being built there, and now it's a Soul Ripper. I don't understand. Oh, there's the Monkey Lord. It's heading north. So surely this is going to be game now for Voodoo. Smith trying to spam together a bug of his own as best as he can. 45,000 hit points on the clock out of 90k. He's got a long way to go, only halfway there. And these Renegades going to take their sweet time to chew through all the HP on that Monkey Lord. In the meantime, it's going to make its way into Mr. Smith's base. There's a Soul Ripper coming up the western edge of the map. All of this build capacity is under threat. He could control K it, but it really wouldn't matter at this point. There are T1 auto guns being spammed up. They all get detonated. There they go. In come some ASFs from Voodoo. Smith parks his comm at the back of the base, but the micro laser locks on, and boom, baby. Down Smith goes at the 34th minute. Very impressive work from Voodoo, holding out 2v1 after losing his teammate. Desync at the end there, but we won't worry about that. Very, very nice work indeed, Voodoo. Hope you enjoyed that, guys. I certainly did. As always, keep the replays coming in. And in the meantime, stay well and stay safe. This is Gyle, signing out.